As I'm sure you're all aware, many maps in Overwatch favor the defending team near the end of the game because the defending team spawns very close to the point and or payload. Maps like Temple of Anubis, Eichenwald, and Volskaya Industries can be extremely hard to take the last point on, so in today's video we'll be discussing something called stall strats, which basically take advantage of this. We're going to talk about how to use them, how to counter them, and whether or not I think they're good for the game. Today's video is sponsored by Jacked. Sign up for free at the link in the description and get rewarded for playing your favorite games, Overwatch included. You're already playing, so might as well get rewarded. So I'm sure you've all experienced it. You push the payload to the end of the map or take the first point on an assault map with ease, but no matter how much better you play than the enemy team, you can't seem to get the last point. It's probably because the enemy team is stalling. They know you're better, so instead of going for the team fight, they try to stall the objective as long as possible, so you lose more time or just run out of time entirely, hopefully forcing a tie, because they know they can't win. Well, I'm actually going to say first, before we start this, I really don't like this strat. I think it's very counterintuitive to the purpose of the game, and I'm kind of mad that it actually works. It's way too easy, I think, to contest a point. I think if 6 people are on a point on one team, and 1 enemy is on it, you should still be able to cap it, maybe at least at a slower rate. I do not agree with these strats. I don't think they should be in the game because I really think they defeat the purpose. They level the playing field too much. A very good team can be easily countered by a team that knows how to stall, and that team can then force a tie, which just isn't fair in my opinion. So that with that out of the way, I'm not going to tell you how to use it and how to counter it, because if it's in the game, I feel like it's my job to inform you on it. We're going to talk about how to actually use it first. And to use it, you're going to have to do one thing I always advise against. This is the only time you're allowed to do it, so don't get used to it. You're going to need to trickle. Yes, you're going to have to trickle onto the objective. The enemy team can't move the payload if even one person from your team is on it, and they can't cap objectives either. So if you all trickle in one at a time and your trickle lasts long enough, you can utilize your respawn timer and slowly just keep trickling onto the objective without really having a time where your team is off it. Now, it's a little more complicated than that, not too much more, but you are going to need to do a few things. For one, there are specific heroes you're going to want to trickle with. Heroes that are hard to kill because of various reasons. Maybe they're really fast and really quick, or they're tanky, or they're a combination of both. We'll go over, I think, about 6 heroes, a few from each class that are great for trickling with and stalling out the game. From the Assault class, we have 2 heroes that are good for stalling, and these 2 heroes are Tracer and Reaper. Tracer can survive a very long time, as I'm sure we've all experienced. A good Tracer will blink right when you aim at her, and she'll recall when she's out of blinks or about to die, just bringing her back up to full HP and giving her more time for her blinks to come off cooldown. So Tracer can contest the objective for a very long time, and she is a total pain when doing so. Reaper is not as good, but he can survive a lot with his Wraith form and his larger HP bar. He has 100 more HP than Tracer, and he can deal a lot of damage while doing so. And if he happens to take someone out, he will heal from their soul. So Reaper can last a very long time and also take out enemies in the process. Not that Tracer can't, but Reaper does a lot of damage. From the defense class, we have the ultimate staller, the best staller, Mei. Mei is very slow, so it can be hard to get on the point, but once you're on there, you will last a long time. You can just jump around the point until you're around 100 HP, then ice block to heal yourself and become invulnerable while contesting the point. When you leave the ice block, all you have to do is place a wall between you and your enemies and hopefully survive long enough until your next ice block is up. Rinse and repeat. Oh, and yeah, I know it's called cryo freeze by the way, but ice block is so much easier to say out of game and in game, so I just call it ice block. Anyway, moving on to the tank category, Winston and D.Va are who you want to stall. They both have high mobility and defensive abilities that allow them to stay alive. Winston can just bubble himself, jump around, deal damage to everybody, and just be a total pain while having a full tank HP bar. D.Va is the exact same way, except she has even more armor. Her defense matrix can probably block a lot more when used used properly, and then she has to be killed twice, which makes her just a total pain to deal with when she jumps on the objective. It's so dumb sometimes how long these two can stall. Not as long as Mei, but these are the two you're going to want for the tank category. And finally, the best support to stall with is Lucio. He wall runs, heals, moves faster, and his hitbox bobbles around so much when he skates. It's so hard to land headshots on him, so he's gonna be really difficult to get rid of. And when he's using his speed boost, if you guys are stalling and there's a few of you trying to stall, it makes the rest of your team harder to kill as well. He just infinitely makes everyone else harder to kill, makes the whole thing a real pain to deal with, and he stalls like a monster. And a combination of these heroes, and maybe some others you can decide, will make it very hard for the attackers to finish a game. I mean, you're going to be spawning closer to the objective, so if you 1-for-1, or even if you don't 1-for-1, you can usually trickle onto the point and stall them out very long, even if you just die the moment you get on it, which is really annoying to deal with as the attacking team. So how do you actually counter this? Well, we're going to talk about it, but first I'd like to say this does favor the team that's stalling usually, because the closer you push to the last point, or if you're on the second point of an assault map, the closer the enemies will spawn, and they're going to spawn way closer than you. So it's much easier for them to stall than it is for you to have your whole team there and wipe them all out. So these strats to counter stall strats aren't always going to work. We're going to go through all the categories once again, this time though focusing on heroes that are good for countering the stall strat. We're going to start with the assault category, and we have two heroes, one of them's the same and one's different. This time we have Reaper and McCree. Reaper is great because of his just extremely high damage output. If anybody gets in the point and tries to stall, Reaper can try his best to take them out very fast and push them off the objective. That way you guys can hopefully keep moving it or capturing it. McCree has his flashbang, which isn't that great. I've complained about it before, but his flashbang is great for stopping those high mobility heroes like Tracer and Winston. You can keep them locked down and hopefully kill them before they can do too much moving around and stalling. And both of them, McCree and Reaper, both have burst and sustain damage, as well as a little bit of utility as well. So these two heroes are going to be great for keeping them off the point. From the defense category, we once again have Mei, and for similar reasons she's good at stalling, she's good at preventing stalling. She can use her walls to deny entry to the objective, whether it's a payload or just a capture point. Her walls can be very useful from stopping people from getting on them, or at least funneling them in a direction that makes it easy for your teammates to take them out. And then once they're on the point, you can freeze them with your left click, and highly mobile targets will be taken out much faster with the help of your team. And one thing that's even better is Mei is good at pushing up outside of the objective and stopping people before they even get close to it with her freeze and her walls and even her ice block. Normally when a Mei ice blocks, enemies stop and wait for her to leave it, that way they can attempt to kill her. So if you're pushing up near where the enemies are spawning, or just stopping them from getting to the point and distracting them, it's going to work out a little bit better. From the tank category, a hero that does exceptionally well at preventing stalling is Roadhog. Roadhog can pull people physically off the point if he wants to, or if they're on the point, he can oftentimes pull them and secure a kill. When your whole team's around you, pulling anybody pretty much means they're dead, so they won't be stalling for very long. Moving back to the support category once again, we see Lucio, but this time he's accompanied by Ana. Lucio once again can be very hard to hit. He's just a very solid support all around, so it's going to be hard for flankers to take him out. Plus, with his right click, he can knock people away from the objective and away from them preventing your push. Ana is great because of her sleep darts. Sleeping an enemy that's about to get on the point, or even an enemy on the point, will allow you to get them off the point or killed. That way you can resume taking it and preventing the stall. Plus, once again, she's just an exceptionally good hero right now in basically every situation. Now let's just go over some general info, some things you should know about the stall strat, when it works, when it doesn't. That way you can just understand it a little bit better. First, I'd like to say this does not work on King of the Hill basically at all, because both teams spawn equally far from the objective no matter where you are. This is mainly for payload maps and assault maps, where the enemy team either has to push very close to your spawn as a defender, or the payload has to push very close to your spawn as a defender. Either way, you're going to be spawning a lot closer than your enemies, so that's when this strat works well. Also, I should note that if you're beating the enemy team and you're confident you can win team fights, don't do this, at least in my opinion. The stall strat works, like I said, when you know the enemy team is better than you, or at least they're playing better than you, or they're just completely rolling you. Like if they're just pushing through all the points very fast and you need to find a way to slow them down, the stall strat can be a great way to do that. But if they're pushing very slow and you think you can win team fights and hold it, don't use the stall strat. Offensively, it's super annoying to deal with, and it can be so tilting. You just gotta let it not really tilt you. Sometimes, like, I've experienced it. You get to that last point on the payload, and you're literally like less than a meter away from getting on it, but the enemy team just keeps leaking out of their spawn. Lucio's dropping ultimates, it's just, I can't even speak. It's so annoying. All I'm trying to say is don't let it tilt you. It isn't really a skill-heavy strategy, and I really think there needs to be more awareness around this. It's super annoying to deal with. Everybody's dealt with it, yet nobody is talking about it. And when people do talk about it, they just get downvoted into oblivion. It's really no fun playing a game where the attackers have a huge advantage because they spawn closer near the beginning, and then moving to a point that the defenders literally just spawn on top of. It's just not a fun way to play the game, at least in my opinion. I don't see why you can't capture or move a payload, or capture a point, when all 6 of your teammates are on it and only 1 enemy is on it. That just doesn't seem fair, especially when it's someone like Mei who can go invulnerable, Reaper can go invulnerable, and all these other heroes can be extremely hard to kill. I really think if you have like 3 or more people than the enemy team on the payload or the objective, you should capture it at least at like a slower rate or something. I don't know, because like there are times you can literally get a team wipe. You can team wipe the enemy team and you don't have enough time to capture the second objective or move the payload all the way to the end, even if you were right there. So this is what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys agree with me. If you do, be sure to leave a like down below. Spread some awareness. I really want Blizzard to see this. This is one of the bigger problems I think the game has right now. It's no fun to deal with on either side. Nobody likes stalling because you just die and you just contest. And nobody likes being stalled because you can't win. So, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Hopefully you agree. I will see you guys all later. Lone Hawk out.